Compare and order fractions. Now that the boys and girls are good at comparing fractions, we're going to use those skills to help us order a set of fractions. Let's have a look. Suppose we are given these four fractions: 3/4, 3/6, 1/3, and 2/12. We want to put them in order from least to greatest. So how do we do that? How do we determine what the smallest fraction is, what the greatest fraction is, and the two in between? Let's have a look. The first thing I see, just focusing on the first two fractions, I see that we have two fractions with 3 as a numerator. We have a rule that we learned yesterday that when the numerators are the same, the larger number in the denominator is the smaller fraction. So 3/6 will be less than 3/4. Also, I note that 3/6 is equal to a half. So I'm just going to rewrite these below here in this order. I don't know if they're the smallest ones or not, but I do know that 3/6 is smaller than 3/4. Now I have 1/3 and 2/12. Well, I noted that 3/6 is equal to a half. I can tell you that 1/3 is less than a half because half of 3 is 1 1/2. And 2/12 is also less than a half because 6/12 would be a half, and this is less than that. So both of these fractions are going to be over here somewhere. What I don't know is which is larger, the 1/3 or the 2/12. So if I just rewrite these down here so I have something to work with. The way we compare fractions that have unlike denominators is we need to find a common denominator. We learned how to do that a week or so ago. So we write out a few multiples of each number. We have 3, 6, 9, 12. As soon as I get to 12, I realize that's going to be the multiple because the first multiple of 12 is 12. So we're going to use 12 as our multiple, as our denominator. Since this is already in 12ths, we don't have to do anything there. We just write the 2 over. So ask ourselves, how do we go from thirds to 12? That's times 4. Whatever you do on the bottom, you do on the top. So 1 times 4 is 4. Now it becomes very easy to compare. We have common denominators, so we just need to compare the numerators. 4 is larger than 2. Well, 4/12 is the same thing as 1/3. So 1/3 is going to be larger than 2/12. So 1/3 is larger than 2/12. 3/6 is larger than 1/3. 3/4 is larger than 3/6. We use the rules of fractions to help us order fractions. This is how we compare and order fractions in 4th grade.